Hello everyone, I am 100% me and this here is my good friend Wood, and I'd very much like to welcome you back into my world where I have been busy. I wonder, have I ever mentioned in this series that I'm terribly stubborn? I might have. If I haven't, I definitely should have. If you remember, last episode we spent some time moving all the villagers that were here in the village all the way over there, and that was in an attempt to get the iron farm going. Also, I made a gunpowder factory, so I really do not know why I'm walking. And as you may remember, at the end of last episode we found out that moving those villagers didn't actually do anything for the iron farm over here, which is why maybe I can show you. Now the way that I look at it, I have two options. Either I can just build a brand new one that I know for sure will work, or I can just reconfigure this one a little bit and hopefully get it to work this way. And I can tell you, I decided to reconfigure this one, and as you can maybe hear in the background, hear the golem dying? It's working! Oh no, this one just spawned in the wrong spot, and that's because I made a path down here. That's not supposed to work, but then it won't, of course, when I close it back up again. What I did essentially... Can you please? There you go. Essentially, what I did is I just completely reconfigured the villager holding cell and the zombie holding cell. Essentially, what I've got for the villager holding cell is the design that Dakam originally showed. A couple of updates ago, iron farms changed quite a bit, and I believe it was Dokam77 who first showed this new way of farming iron. Oh no, we got this again. And essentially I just put this one in place. But this one isn't supposed to be sleeping. I don't know what that's about. Supposed to be terribly scared by this. Oh, the zombie is distracted by me. That's... Wait, this is not... This one isn't scared now. Well, let's just quickly back out again. Come on, Wood. Anyway, as you can see, it has been producing... And it's been producing quite a bit, and I'm really happy about it. Now, of course, after I changed and upgraded the farm, I needed, of course, to test it. And testing takes time, so I've been doing some grindy off-camera things. One of the things is I've put mending on all the tools and armor that did not yet have it. And so now everything is mending, and I don't have to worry about repairing it. Yay! The thing is... Why am I still walking? The thing is, I've been using my skeleton grinder to upgrade everything. And that thing is kind of slow, and I actually kinda want a new XP farm. And of course, one of the best XP farms in existence of Minecraft is of course the Ender, I think. And so perhaps I'll try and construct one. I wasn't really planning on doing that this episode, because this episode I was intending on working on Gorf quite a bit, right? We've got all this wool everywhere and these potential buildings, right? They're all plans for buildings, but they're not actual buildings, right? And so I sort of figure it's high time that we dig in over here and properly make some progress. And there you go, we did some building. Let me talk you through it. This over here is the town hall. It's where you get all your official stuff sorted. I don't really know what happens inside the town hall, I just think it's all terribly boring. I really only ever come in town halls when I need to. This over here, as well as over here, is a bit of a waiting area. It's where you wait on your turn, and then when it's your turn, you can walk up to one of these booths where one of those official town people will help you with whatever you need. Of course, on the inside over here... Ooh, wood, would you mind? Thank you. Over here, we've got little working areas for the town worker people to do whatever they do in town halls. I really do not know. Now, something, of course, to keep in mind is that the people of Gorf, the frog people, they're really small, so I didn't really give them a whole lot of space. They don't really need it. But that pretty much concludes the tour of our town hall. Oh. Yeah, you might have noticed the creeper explosion at the end there. This got blown up apparently too. Let me fix that real quick. There we go. Good as new. Now, if you follow me over in this direction, this here is what I picture as the community center. It's where people get together. It's just this big open area, right? It's got a bit of a stage, and people can gather here or assemble here for important announcements, perhaps, or maybe just for special events, right? We've got the stage over here. Maybe we've got a band coming through town or something. Just a performance, maybe an open mic night, something like that. And then over here in the back, we've got a staircase leading up to a second floor where you can do more really cool things. Just open areas where you can gather with people, right? That's kind of what I pictured for this community center. Ooh, it's getting night, I think. Is it? Yeah, it's getting there. There. Now this building over here is really just one big rectangle, right? Something that I did to keep it just a little bit interesting is the staircase that I just showed you. I just made it protrude a little bit, I suppose, on the outside here. And it adds just tiny little bit of detail, but it breaks it up so much. And I don't know, I guess it just makes the entire building just a little more interesting, right? As for this building, I created a little bit of detail by adding some depth to the walls here, right? We've got the pillar, and you can see the wall is just a little bit indented, right? Whereas compared to this building, we've got the pillar and the wall is just flat against it, right? And that is how I chose to add detail to both these buildings, because they really needed to have a little bit of detail. As you can see, as far as the colors go, they're all really the same. It's just dark, a lot of dark everywhere. And so the detail really has to come from the shape, I think. And so by adding a staircase on the outside over there and indenting the walls in this one over here, I think that really accomplishes that detail that I'm looking for here. Now, there is a really important reason that we have a town hall over here and a community center over there, and that is mainly this little lake type of thing. Would that be called a lake in a swamp? I don't really know. Now, this is essentially going to be the town square, right? I believe I've mentioned that in the previous episode. Because these people are amphibious, I figured it would be really fun to have a town square that is both underwater as well as a little bit above water. It does mean we have quite a bit of terraforming to do over here, of course. Woo, hello! Over here, of course, there's going to be a path connecting this up to the rest over there. And then what I was thinking for the edge over here, if you'll follow me, I'll have an example. What I was thinking is to have a bit of a retaining wall, right? Like we have over here. Just a little bit to keep the dirt back, right? And then also I want to add some sort of plateaus or platforms in the center where people can also just get up on the land. That will be probably somewhat similar to the docks. I think that would be really cool. But enough chitter chatter, why don't we actually make that happen? I just spent some time gathering materials, namely all this deep slate and all the spruce over here. Let's go have a look at how we want to do this, right? And actually I'd like some dirt as well, because I think it would be cool if this just kind of extends like this. And have our retaining wall a bit closer to this bit over here. So I'll probably just go into the water here and just build this up a little bit. And grass will grow on that, of course, at some point. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't think I want this. I think it would be... Well, actually, do I? Yeah, no, I'm thinking it would be really cool if the retaining wall would sort of come over here, right? So maybe we'll just remove all of this again. We have to properly fill this back up with water, of course. And we will, don't worry, don't worry. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's take this down again. Couple notches, there you go. While we're here anyway, let's just fix a bit of this. And let us start putting in our wall over here. There you go, beautiful start, isn't it? And even though it's a bit lighter than that over there, it's still very similar in texture to the rest. I'm not quite sure if that's a good thing, but we'll work with it for now. Now, to keep the shape of it just a little bit organic, I'm going to start placing in the wall over here. We don't really want to have too much of a diagonal line, right? We want it to flow just a little bit, if possible, right? Now, as you may notice, over here we have a bit of an entrance into a cave. And what I don't really want to do is I have our retaining wall block off the entrance, right? And so what I'm doing here is trying to hide the wall behind the rock that's already here and sort of hope that that creates a sort of natural transition. I don't really know how that will play out, but we'll see. We'll just play with it and see where it lands, right? And so now, as you can see, this kind of looks like it's just hidden behind the rock, right? It's like it's built into it, tucked into it neatly. And of course it starts raining now. Not that that matters a whole lot. We were wet anyway from working underwater. You may notice we kind of have a problem over here, don't we, Wood? Now we don't really have that natural transition anymore to hide behind, so I'm sort of terraforming it to make it sort of look like we still have it. I mean, that can work, right? Can it work? Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Yeah, this trick really only works if you've got stone to tuck it in behind. How can I solve this? How can I solve this? Might have an idea, actually. Hang on. Perhaps I can do a little something like a so, and then like a so, and it kind of looks like it moves into the mountain? Into the rock? Maybe. In fact, while we're at it, maybe I can do that with the stone as well. There you look. It makes it look a little bit smoother, doesn't it? That's kind of cool, isn't it? That's kind of cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's do that. And there you go. We have a retaining wall. And I am just realizing I've forgotten that bit over there. Although maybe that's not really all that bad. Because I don't really know what's going to be here yet. We have this really big opening and I sort of wanted to close it off, but I don't really know what that's going to look like just yet. So maybe I'll tackle this bit when I also tackle this bit. So it's not a bad thing that I've forgotten this. I have, however, not forgotten this bit, but rather I have intentionally left it out. And that's mostly because I need to create a transition between the docks over here and this area. But I think it's better to do that when I start working on the roads. You know, the roads that I've laid out here with blue wool. And working on the roads is not on the docket for this episode. What we will be doing now is work a little bit on the center area over here. For which we will need lots and lots and lots of slabs. There you go. That might not be enough. I'm also realizing we'll be needing trapdoors. Those are buttons. I just nearly crafted a whole ton of buttons. And we'll also be wanting to go to sleep. Not yet though. What we're going to do here is near these trees, well, not like that, more like this, we're going to make platforms. And what's going to happen on these platforms is these platforms are going to have little stalls, little market stalls, right? And I'm trying to make them look as organic as possible. Ooh, and misplacing a whole lot of blocks. It is difficult to place blocks when you're bobbing up and down in the water, isn't it? Oh, this is kind of cool. I forgot you could do that. You can place lily pads on waterlogged slabs and stairs. Maybe I should try that in more areas, or maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe it's just a one-off over here. Either way, I like it here. I think this is one of the platforms done. Sort of. I do want to add a little bit of detail in here. Similar to what we did... similar to what we did at the docks, right? We're just adding some texture to it to make it look a little more interesting, right? There! That's a pretty good platform, isn't it? Now I'm going to just make a whole bunch more. Come on, Wood. I have a bit of a distraction. See, I think it's not supposed to be possible in the game, but I have a wandering trader over here. But I believe I also have one. At the very least, I saw one. Look, over here. That's kind of weird, because I don't believe you're supposed to be able to have More than one wandering trader in your world at a time. Minecraft. Alright, so we've now got 3 of these floating platforms over here. This, of course, is the one that we worked on first. Then I worked on this one a little bit. And finally, of course, that leaves this one over here. Now you may notice that this one is a little bit bigger, and that's because, of course, we've got all these trees clumped together over here. And of course we were making these platforms around trees. Now we need to take these platforms and put little stalls on them for a market, right? Now as it happens, I've got the resources for that on me right now. Let's go try put one over here. How do you want to do this? A bit like this, a bit like that. I don't know what just happened. I thought there was 3 blocks apart, but that's fine. We can just redo it. And then I've got these beautiful colors for making these stalls very colorful indeed. And there you go, you got a little stall over here. Isn't that lovely? Now all I've got to do is make a whole bunch more. Hello! Look, we got little stalls everywhere. We got a little market in town. Isn't that lovely? Oh, I love it. Not nearly as much as I'm loving this. You see, I got a little distracted and I decided to just whoop down here in the retainer wall that we built. Decided to put a little cafe in here. Isn't that lovely? With just a little cafe down here. That's one of those ideas that just came to me and I decided to go with it and I really love it. I think it's great. I'm probably a little more happy about that cafe than I should be, really. But look, this is our little town square now. This is where the frog people can do their shopping in the market over here. Isn't it nice? I'm not sure if this is going to do anything, but I figure we can have a look at it from above. Oh yeah, no, that does do something. It makes the whole thing feel a lot more alive, doesn't it? Just having all these colors here. Whoop. Let's go look at it from over here. Look at that, isn't that lovely? Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm happy. I'm so happy. Ouch. I'm so happy I don't care. I flew into the roof. Wood, what do you think? Haven't I deserved a pat on the back? I think I'm just going to pat myself on the back real quick. Oh, and it looks like Wood does indeed agree. Now there is one thing we must do before we end up the episode. Of course, we started the episode fixing the iron farm, and I think it would only be fitting to finish off the episode looking at if it actually worked or not. But it's getting dark and we can't look before we go to sleep first. It's morning! Let's have a look. Oh yes, I don't quite remember how much was in here, but it's definitely more now. You may notice I also came by and just sort of organized it a little bit. But we finally got a working iron farm in the world. Look, you can see it, it's working. And the thing about this farm is it's obviously not the most efficient design out there. I never really need the most efficient designs. In my experience building iron farms, they always produce far more than I really need. They always tend to overflow and I end up shutting them down at some point. I wanted that one because it was just really quick and easy to set up, and again, it doesn't really produce too much. And if it had been producing this whole time, we would have had so much more iron now. Probably we would have had enough to make a proper beacon, right? If only it had been working properly from the start. But with all that being said, done and built, I think this is the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. This episode was a very build heavy one, wasn't it? Well, next episode I'm planning on building that Enderman farm that I talked about earlier. And so that will be a very technical episode. I guess the two of them will sort of balance each other out, won't they? Anyway, I hope to see you then.